Alright, YouTube. It's early Saturday morning. I just showed up here at Mass Acceleration Motorsports in Denver, North Carolina. Here to pick up Mr. Fabulous. He just received a dyno tune, and actually came by yesterday, spoke with the owner and the tuner, got a rundown on what they had to say about him, and well, I'll fill you in on that, but let's see what it'll do for a cold start. Eh? Whoa! Sounds like a pretty good start. Alright, so I've been driving now for, I don't know, 45 minutes or so. Nearly back to the house. First impressions, truck drives a whole lot better than it did. Got more power than it did. Not as much as it could have or will have, but much more lively than it was. Drivability is really nice. Transmission's functioning well. Probably the thing I'm happiest with right now is the exhaust. It doesn't rattle. It's not too loud. It's not obnoxious in the least bit. Yet it has a really nice note to it. I'll have to admit I was worried about it. Bought the mufflers on what the description was. Low note it said, but seeing them straight through glass pack design, I was worried it was going to sound like the young boys with the cack 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 on their trucks, but it does have a very nice note to it. It's loud enough to be noticeable, but let's face it, I'm an old man and I can't hack it no more, so it's pretty good. And I'll roll down the window and let you hear it. Okay, so let me bring you up to speed. So here is Mr. Fabulous. Dyno tune. Dyno tuned. Went well, I think. Kind of went well. So dyno tune, I think, is fantastic. Truck drives good. Problem is, truck's not making boost. I think there's probably a few different reasons why. Obviously, I said from the beginning the supercharger is really small, and I was shooting for maximum RPM with it. because it was really small, still not making boost. Is moving air. Truck goes to 0 boost at any throttle input, and then goes to 1 pound if you're leaning in the throttle. So it is moving air. Truck's never starving for air. It's not a restriction by any stretch. In fact, the truck's up 30 some horsepower over a stock new truck. So it's working. It's just not working well. Quite disappointed. I had high hopes for 6 to 7 pounds based on a lot of different things, but based on some math, based on some past experience, based on, well, wishful thinking, I suppose. However, you know me, I'm not going to give up. So here's what's happened. That is the supercharger pulley and idler that was on Mr. Fabulous. That is now the supercharger pulley and idler that's on it. Went back to the big old idler off the mock-up setup, switched to a smaller supercharger pulley, which I had to purchase yet again. According to my math, I'm now overspinning this supercharger another 22%. Over recommended. Went from 52,000 impeller speed to 68,000 impeller speed. And the logic here is, yes, it's oversped, over recommended, but it's likely going to be at half the boost level, which is recommended, so the stresses will be less. I suppose there's still some danger because it is a cast wheel, so you always have the run the risk of it exploding. But I guess at this point we're willing to risk it, because this is a budget build. It's intended to be on a budget, so sorry about that. I think I left off where it was intended to be on a budget. Battery went dead. I had to charge it for a minute. But so sticking with the budget theme, I bought another pulley. I'm going to overspin it. I did a mock-up gauge in it the other night, and it appears to be making about 6 pounds. It no longer likes the tune. I think it has too much timing in it. So it's going back to the dyno on Monday, and he's going to tweak the timing curves in it and finish it up. Oh, there's the boys. What you boys doing?
None. Some laundry.
Nothing? Oh, laundry. Alright, well, I was just catching YouTube up on what's going on here.
Hey, YouTube.
Also, when I was messing with it the other night, I noticed an oil drip, so I put it on the lift, and I noticed I got a kink in my oil pressure line, and it's squirting. So glad I found that before I was on a high-speed jaunt down the interstate somewhere and I lost all my oil. But I'm gonna put it up, show you that, show you my exhaust, and then maybe we'll catch you up here in a little while. Alright, so I have done a little bit of spraying of the brake clean and cleaning things up, but looky there. And it was squirting oil all the way up to the header. I don't know if you can see it. All the way up to the header and all over the place, so that's bad. I'm gonna pull that off and go get me a new line made. And maybe I'll go ahead and take that splice out of that drain line while I'm at it. Alright, so I'm gonna attempt to show you the exhaust without making everybody completely dizzy. Alright, let's see. Let me do it this way. There we go. Headers, Y pipe, X pipe, V-band clamps, hanger, mufflers. I did weld them together so they wouldn't rattle. more V-band clamps, and then over the rear axle, one pipe comes out this way and one pipe goes out that way. So after I got driving it around, I had these pipes centered up in these holes pretty good in the body. After I got driving around, they got to rattling a little bit. Now, with the axles dropped all the way, they do touch and pull down against the body a little bit. This one, I'm not sure how or why, but it got short and got off to the side, and it's just wrong altogether. So I think I'm gonna cut them tips off, maybe mount some in the body, and then let them free float inside the tips that are mounted. I don't know. We'll figure that out. That's not critical. What's critical is that. But pretty proud of the exhaust because it sounds pretty good. It's not too loud. Pretty happy with it. That not happy with. Okay, now I'm back. Been working all day. So I have replaced the drain line and the pressure line. Went with a hydraulic hose this time instead of the cheap braided line from eBay. Went down to Napa, had one made. Not exactly sure where my oil was coming from. I pulled that line off thinking it was going to be split. It's not. Doesn't appear that it was split, but it could have been that splice in my drain line leaking. I'm not sure what was leaking, but I didn't like the looks of the kinks, so I got rid of it, figuring if it hadn't failed, it's probably gonna at some point. I did a one-piece drain line. I put a 90 in the oil pan instead of trying to make the corner with the hose. All right, 3 days before the mountain trip, and here we find ourselves all of a sudden the Milky Way with a new transmission and a new converter. Acts like it don't want to do right. I got the red car in the shop, gonna clean it up. Boy's still going to church with his girlfriend. Blue come over, brought a spare transmission in, pouring down rain. We're gonna see about swapping the thing out, see what happens. There it is, it's out again. Hey, what are you doing with that tractor, man? Pedal it. One boy power. He don't try hard. Alright. Well, there's the crew. Mr. Fabulous loaded back on the trailer, ready to go to the dyno. The Milky Way has been out of the shop, up the street, around the block several times, and back under its own power with an alternative transmission. There's the sad rebuilt one. I did talk to my transmission guy, and he suspects that we perhaps ballooned that new Summit brand converter with the supercharged small block power that we are using in this truck. Probably so. Went ahead and put a new flex plate on it too. This one was genuine GM, but went ahead and put a new one in it for good measures because that one was pretty wonky looking. And this, my friend, first time I used it on the lift, but makes life easier. Pretty happy with that. Till next time.